Hey guys, let's take a look at today's activity. Today you should be working with a partner, so you and one other person are working together on this, and you should have one piece of paper between the two of you, and you should have a piece of paper with a whole bunch of shapes on it. You may want a separate blank piece of paper or two to go ahead and put your evidence on later, but that's up to you guys. You can do it any way you want. I suggest maybe taking a second to cut the paper in half so that you can share in the measurings of the shapes. We're going to do A together right now, and then you and your partner are going to be doing shapes B, C, D, and E on your own. So however it is that you want to cut that in half so you can share in the workload is really up to you. You don't have to do it right now. You can do it in just a few minutes. So let's take a look at what I want you guys to do. What we're going to be doing today is deciding whether or not those two shapes with the same letter on them are similar to each other. And so we're going to be measuring the sides, and we're going to set up some ratios and proportions like we talked about in class yesterday. And we're going to see if everybody has the same growth rate. And if they do, then great, my shapes are similar. But if one side grows faster than any of the others, then we know right then that they're not going to be similar to each other. So here's what I want you guys to do. Taking a look at shape A, you're going to go through and you're going to measure all the sides on little shape A. And then you're going to go through and measure all the sides on big shape A. I highly recommend using centimeters on your rulers, and I really want you guys to be as accurate as possible with your measurements. So when you take your ruler and you come over here to measure, let's say the red side, make sure you line it up right there in the middle of that little circle, and you measure all the way over to the middle of that other little circle. So I went so far as to even say that mine was 1.85 because I went 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I went a little over 8, but not quite to 9. So I just want to make sure that, again, you measure as accurately as possible. So I'm going to go through and I measure all my sides, red side, green side, blue side, purple side, and I do the same thing on the big shape A. Now is time for my evidence. I need to know then, are these shapes really similar? And they look similar. They look from the right to the left that they've grown to about the same amount. So now we just need to prove it with evidence. Don't you love it? All right, at this point, my evidence then will involve dividing the two sides. So I'm going to take big A and divide it by little a. Big A and little a. And then I'm going to divide out their corresponding sides. So it does me no good to compare a green side with a red side because they don't go together. So just make sure you're dividing corresponding sides. So I went ahead and took my green measurement from the big one. Again, I'm going to do big divided by little each time. So I'm going to take that green 7.4 and then the green 3.7. I'm going to divide them. 7.4 divided by 3.7. Did that on my calculator, and wonderfully enough, I got the nice number 2. So I know that this green side is 2 times bigger than this green side, because what I'm finding here is actually the growth rate. It's telling me how much it's grown. I'm going to do the same things for the red, purple, and blue sides. So I'm going to take my big red measurement, my little red measurement, I'm going to divide them, and I got 2.02. Take my big purple measurement, my little purple measurement, divide them, I got 2, and do the same thing with blue. Big blue measurement, little blue measurement, divide them, and I got 2.01. Our goal is for all these things to be the same. If my shapes are similar, then everything will grow at the same rate. So just pay attention to what I'm saying right here. Remember to be as accurate as possible with your measurements, but even so, your rulers and your eyes are not perfect. So when I get 2 and 2.02 as answers, I'm going to go ahead and consider those to be the same thing. So what I found then, and now I need to go on and state my final conclusion, is I found that all the sides of this quadrilateral have grown by the same amount. Each one of these sides is 2 times bigger than that guy. Or I could say that the little one is half as small as the big one. So my conclusion then is this. The two shape A's, big shape A and little shape A, are similar to each other. When I divided the corresponding sides, big divided by small, they all had the same ratio or growth rate. So my final conclusion, the big shape is 2 times bigger than the small one. When you do this on your paper, I would suggest cutting these guys out, gluing them to a separate piece of paper, and then putting your evidence and your conclusion on that separate piece of paper. You can probably get 2 shapes to a piece of paper. So you could end up doing one and then your partner would end up doing one. Again, it's really up to you guys how you divide out the work. I'm going to go ahead and give you 10 points for this activity because it is going to take a lot of work. So please make sure that you work on it and that you're accurate. One of the things that you will find every once in a while is that, let's say we did the green and we got 2, let's say we did the red, and when I divided the red, it came out to be 5. Well, that would mean that the red side had grown 5 times bigger, but the green side had only grown 2 times bigger. So my conclusion there would be that my shapes are not similar to each other because one side grew faster than the other. Remember when I told you about my son and his big feet yesterday? His feet grew way faster than the rest of them, so he's unproportionate. Same thing here. These 2 shapes are not similar if one of them grows faster than the other. But luckily, these ones did turn out to be similar. You can kind of look and see which ones won't work out. Like I think shape C's, they don't look like they've grown at the same rate. Maybe the B's too. You'll have to do your math and check and see. All right, if you have any questions, please ask Mrs. Kronk, and she can text me if it's something big, or do your best, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh, please make sure you clean up at the end of the hour. Mrs. Kronk will give you plenty of time to do that, but I do not want paper on the floor. All right, have a great day. Have fun. See you tomorrow.